I'd like to call this meeting to order Friday, October the 7th, 2008. October the 17th, 2008, 9:45. Roll call, all members of the board are present. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest? If not, could I have a motion then to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held on September the 19th, 2008?
Prior to that, Chair, if I could, we made a mistake. We omitted that the Chief's Counsel was present for the minutes, so we'll include that as amended.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Prior to approving the agenda, can we add this?
Could you turn your mic on there, please?
Prior to approving the agenda, could we formally add this report for Mr. Bureau with respect to the community summit?
Yes,
So
we
we can
may.
deal with it in the open session?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do that under other business then. Other business. All right. All those in favor then as amended? Presentations, we have none this morning. Deputations, we have none this morning. Unfinished business, we have none. New business then. Someone like to move the consent agenda? Okay. Chief is here, he'll just be a minute or two. Dan, would you like to add, all right, we can do that under other business. Are there any questions on the consent agenda? Anyone? If not, yes, Mr. Murray.
On the, I see there was a letter regarding your visit to New York for the commemorative function regarding 9/11. How is it decided who goes to that, or is that by volunteer?
I can answer that. What we do is the chiefs
It wasn't important. I just wanted to thank you for speaking up on behalf of
the service down there.
I think you're
And throughout the course of the year, members of the Honor Guard commit time on their own to attend various functions with in representing our organization. So what they do is they select a group of officers, usually about 14 of them, and they're usually the top group who throughout the course of the years have committed the most amount of their own hours to functions within the service. And this is kind of on our behalf, kind of a thank you.
Okay, Mr. Burrow on 106.
This is on the final wrap-up on the CPD golf tournament. I provide you with an amended report, and then subsequent today, I'm advised we received one more sponsorship check. So the final total.
Oh, there it is. I can't identify who's talking. I'm sorry.
Costs on November the 1st is $21,818.58. So congratulations to the co-chair who's here, and Ms. Cordes, who worked very hard on it. Certainly it's an outstanding result, and I'm sure cops will be appreciative of it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
And just on behalf of us, I'd like to thank Fred and Shelley for all their efforts in organizing it. This money means a lot to the cops organization. You know, they kind of struggle each year, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. And they are on the new site now, right? Okay. Any other questions then? If not, all those in favor? Carried. Under other new business, then Mayor Fennell, would you like to move motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, following the presentation of our chief yesterday, where we provided direction to come back to police board and begin the process to structure a community summit to review what with everyone's input, what's happening and what can be done. Mr. Bureau has formed a report for us to approve in principle, so I'd like to move that. I'd like also to recommend that we discuss who needs to be, what the composition is of the people who need to be attending this workshop, which might be a little bit different than the one held several years ago. I said yesterday that in addition to school representation, young people, all our community groups, United Way, people who are interacting with youth and not just youth, that we have a very active places of worship community, certainly in the city of Brampton, and I think there are many leaders in that community who also interact with young people and would want an opportunity to share what they're hearing and maybe provide some information that they can learn from us and we can learn from them. So I'm suggesting there might be an opportunity to include a broader scope of people. We roll up our sleeves and see what we can do different and unique, and we lead the way in Peel as we always do. And we learned yesterday that despite the spike, Peel Regional Police is on top, and but there's still a sense from the community. The community wants to say, what can we do as a community? So this enables that community participation, and hopefully we'll find some new and bold suggestions that can be deployed not just by police, but by the many community groups who are already established to interact with the citizens to make our communities as safe as they can be. Hopefully we'll be the model for Canada, we usually are.
Just to add to that for a moment, that Mayor Fennell has spoken about.
Sorry,
I'd ask Fred
I
maybe to
went out of
outline
recording
sort
time.
of the points and the 5 points that we may consider in through preparing for that summit.
Thank you, Chair. One of the advantages of being around as long as I was around for the first one in 1994. Circumstances are different, the community is different, there's been a lot of growth, and certainly one of the advantages of listening to the presentation yesterday was also hearing members of council speak to the points the chief made and say we need to engage more broadly. Certainly Mayor Fennell and Mayor McCallion said, what can we do? And that certainly plays into conversations the board had at its off-site, saying that it was probably time to go back to the community with its partners, that being the region of Peel, the cities, the boards of ed, and others, including, as the Mayor said, and determine exactly what we have and where we're going to go as a community to solve some of these issues. In 1994, there's a number of recommendations that came forward. We've learned from that because they essentially died stillborn because of lack of funding. So I think one of the things, the reason it's here for approval in principle is really so that we can ensure that whatever we do produce at the end of the process is deliverable, so that as a community we can keep on going back to it. To pick up on the Chair's comments, this is, if you will, one arrow in the quiver. There will be obviously consideration later of the in-camera police budget. There'll be consideration of other directions the board has discussed with the chief, the community summit, and the other 2 points the board discussed was the need to work with our partners on provincial issues. As mentioned, the STEP program is right out March 31st. I think the chief made it clear we need to have continued funding for that, and also look for federal initiatives to assist us without going into a great deal of detail now, but certainly that was identified by the board in January of this year, and we've been working with the CAPD. We're looking forward to working with FCM and our other partners to try and address some of those funding issues as well. So it's not just one approach, but I think it's a more holistic approach. And as Mayor Fennell said, Peel tends to be far more active and proactive these days than in the past, but I think we need to continue with that to achieve the kind of success that we require.
Any other comments?
Chief, just in summary, Peel Regional Police is ready, this board is ready, this community is ready. So when we move forward on this kind of a summit, we're truly going to have the opportunity to not just have a deliverable, but whether it's working with the provincial government, the federal government, at the end of the day, we're serving the citizens of Peel or Canada. As chair of the Ontario Federal Caucus of FCM, people look to Peel for solutions. They say when Peel gets moving, the rest of us copy Peel because good things happen. So we have a challenge in front of us, we all do, and here's an opportunity for the residents and the community groups to participate. They want to, they're ready to, and we'll come out with a model and with specific targets and goals, and if it's specific to the provincial government for funding, or the federal government, then we'll continue to carry those through. It'll be more than a summit. It'll be the beginning of the end of what we've seen in this spike this year. It's the end of the spike. It must not be a trend.
Chief?
Well, as I mentioned, Mr. Chairman and caucus, I do appreciate the board's attendance and support yesterday. I think it was important, and to speak to Mayor Fennell's comment about the religious aspect of this, oddly enough, I did have Gavin Francis received an email yesterday, and it was a minister that had actually listened in, and I think it was good for the public interest to hear some of these things and from the chief. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be me, but it's the interest in the information that we gave out yesterday, and even though that was just one small aspect of it, this minister offered his help, and I think those are the people that we actually reach out and touch. He's got an interest. He had no idea about any summit, but I think it's an important person that offers his leadership that we contact and bring him into that summit. I think he did some valuable information. I think we need to mobilize right away, Mr. Chairman, to be quite honest with you, and I'm going to assign Gavin Francis to touch base with Fred, and we'll get this going as soon as we can. Because it's fine to sit in front of council and talk about these issues, but then we have to show some action, and I think we do that right away. But again, thank you, and thank you for your comment.
The other small thing that I'll maybe just mention is the money that we spent on our technology this summer to update it did allow police officers within their different facilities to listen to the meeting yesterday, which was at a function last night. Several of them had spoken up to me and said that was really great. We really enjoyed to do that while we're working away at our desk, and it's amazing how many people you can reach sometimes with technology that are involved in your organization. So I thought that was good. Yes. Right.
No, I was just going to add that, I think it's important that we engage our youth, and I know we'll do that through the schools, but I think another area we should look at is with our drop-in centers, because there's been a number of youth drop-in centers that have been established through Appeal since 1994 for sure, and I think it would be important to also include them, have them engaged, and I'm very supportive of having our leaders within the places of worship involved, because they see what's happening day to day, they hear what's happening day to day, and it's important that we do engage with them as well. But I thought yesterday was a good message to send out to the community, particularly just to reinforce that what we're doing is the right thing, and that we're on the right track, and that we're going to continue to do it. We're going to make some changes to make things work even better than they are today.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'd be pleased to second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor then of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Item 108 then is the amendment to the purchase of bylaw 351. There's a recommendation there. Would someone like to move and second that?
I actually have an amended recommendation, and if I could read it, it's really administrative, but it's recommended the board adopt the regional purchasing bylaw adopted by council on October 9th, 2008, as to be amended to correct a typographical error, and that it be utilized for the purchase of goods and services for police purposes, and the rest remains the same. The repeal purchasing bylaw 351, and that the new bylaw be presented to the board for enactment.
Okay. Mover and a seconder. Okay. Any questions?
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
Once again, the police come forward and help the regional appeal. Thanks to Tom Banks, he recognized that. Well done, Tom, well done.
Thank you, Tom. All those in favor as amended? Carried. Item 109 is the community representation, and there's a board motion there also. Would someone like to move that?
Could I just address it once it's been moved?
Okay, seconder? Sat.
Okay, just in terms of the discussion previously, and also some amendments. So for the airport policing, it would be Councillor Frank Gael will be added to that. For complaints against the police service, it would be Ms. King and Ms. Jamison will be added to that. Court-related issues remains the same. Executive personnel items, we would strike the fourth position. Facilities remains the same. For grievances, we would add Mr. Gosel. And for policy, we would add Mr. Gosel as well. And under the special ad hoc committees, we would add Ms. King and Ms. Jameson. And for long-term disability, we would strike the vacant position, and everything else remains the same.
I'd like to move the recommendations. Seconder. Gosel. All those in favor is amended. Carried. Item 110, then is the special fund request for Brampton Safe City Award Gala. Okay, that was seconded. Yes, Mr. Murray. Are there any questions? Not all those in favor? Carried. Also, there's another special request. Someone like to move that for the Mississauga. Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Item 112 is also a request for support of juvenile diabetes. Okay. Are there any questions? If not, all those in favor? Carried. In-camera reports, bring it out into the public that the information be received, or that the matter be reported back to the regular agenda. Someone like to move it second, both of those. Okay, and a seconder. Okay. Are there any questions? Not, all those in favor? Carried. Bylaw 113. Someone like to move the recommendation that bylaw 365, given the necessary number of readings taken as read and signed by the board and seal updates thereto. Seconder, Councillor Gael. All those in favor? Carried. That concludes the public portion of it. We'll move into the in-camera portion.